Hi, I'm Lee Erickson, member of the Sandy Am Flycasters Club in Salem, Oregon. I've been fly fishing for about 25 years. The club has provided me an opportunity to learn to tie flies with several of its members, and today I'm going to be tying a pheasant-tail nymph, which is a calabatus mayfly version. I'm going to be tying a beadhead with a flashback, and also we're going to have some feathers on it that will provide a little bit more action than the standard pheasant-tail nymph. What I'm starting with is a size 14 standard nymph hook. Since I'm putting a beadhead on, I'm putting a 1X long heavy hook. This hook will be fished down in the water. So I'm using an 8/0 Orvis polyester thread, and I'm going to build up a little bit behind the beadhead. Then I'm going to cover the hook shank down to about the point of the hook so that the thread is at the point of the hook. I'm going to tie in some pheasant tail feathers which will act as the tail. Remember, this is imitating a mayfly, and so it has a tail. It's somewhat sparse, so I'm going to use about 4 feathers. Now the tail length should equal the body length, and so if I measure the body length like that, then I'll use a pinch technique and I'll tie in the tail. We can see the tail's too long. I'm going to shorten it up so that the tail and the body are about the same length. Next, I'm going to tie in a copper wire, which will act as the ribbing and will also segment the body. So I'm using a fine copper wire, tie it in at the front and tied towards the back to that same tie-in point at the point of the hook. Then I'm going to take some more pheasant tails, feathers. I'm going to tie them in and wind forward about 2/3 of the way up the hook. Then I'm going to wind those forward. This makes a sparse, slim tail section. And I'm going to tie them off. So there I have the that section done. I prefer to use the copper wire now and segment the body now. So I'll tie the copper wire off. And rather than use my scissors, I use fingernail clippers to cut the wire. The reason that this fly attracts so much attention is that it uses some material to create a flashback. So I'm doubling up and I'm going to tie this in and pull it back. And eventually I'm going to tie that forward. Now it's time for my hurl. So I'll tie the ostrich hurl in, wrap it around the thread. This gives it a nice iridescent type body in the thorax. So once the thorax is done, then I'm going to bring the crystal flash forward, and I'm going to tie it off right behind the bead. Now at this point, I'm going to take some real fine feather. I'm going to pull it back a little bit, and I'm going to snip off the tip and leave just a little triangular piece there. And I'll tie it in and take a couple wraps. So as I wrap around it, the feather should start to lay flat back against the fly. Then I'll finish it off. Then use a whip finish. Since I have a lot of material here, I'm not going to use a glue. I'm going to double whip finish it. So this is a Beadhead Pheasant-Tail flashback with Hungarian partridge natural feathers. These will move a lot as you fish the fly, and it gives the fly some action.
Bright shores in the sunlight, the heather of hills and the rising morn, the rolling grassy mist rolls east in the morning to run the wild hills of the seaward, the green hills are lovely.